Coming up next on ABC Sports, the SEC Championship game presented by Dr. Pepper, matching the Florida Gators and Alabama. We'll take a game just like yours, Brent. A brisk autumn weather front has been hovering over the midsection of Alabama most of today. Wet and windy early on at Legion Field in Birmingham. Getting better right now. This is where the college football game will be played today that will determine teams for the Sugar, the Citrus, and the Cotton Bowl. And there is a championship to be won as well. ABC Sports College Football, proud to bring you the 1993 SEC Championship game presented by Dr. Pepper, matching the Florida Gators and the Alabama Crimson Tide. And the roar behind us as the Tide makes its way into Legion Field. Some folks still say, Bob, this is an Alabama field. All right, this is a rematch of the two universities we saw play here a year ago, but it's not the same two teams. For one thing, All-American cornerback Antonio Langham ineligible, associated with an agent, maybe signed with him. He's out of the ball game for Alabama. For both teams, they've got troubles at quarterback.
Well, they do. Both starting quarterbacks are out for this game. Jay Barker for Alabama was hurt in the Auburn game. That was their last game of the year. And Danny Werfel hurt last week against Florida State. But that hurts more Alabama than it does Florida because Terry Dean will start for Florida.
Terry Dean is seasoned. Now, strength against strength in the matchup. Alabama loves to run. Florida can stop a run.
They can, and you think that Florida's going to come out on the head of this one because Florida cannot defense the pass very well. They can stop the run, but without Jay Barker starting at quarterback for Alabama, they go to Brian Bergdorf, and they've had problems throwing the ball without Jay Barker.
We do have the tiebreaker rule in effect today, so we're not going to go home to the supper table with a tie. Lynn Swan will be with us shortly.
One of the stories, Terry Dean at quarterback. We've got both his parents here, Frank and Nancy Dean. I've got to ask you, you said that you can notice things about Terry doing pregame warm-up. What have you seen?
Yeah, you can tell he's got a little quicker gait, a little lively step, moves around a little bit, more animated in his motions than normal.
Sometimes they say his concentration goes. How do you feel about his emotional or psychological state coming in this ballgame? You talk to him.
Well, you know, the season's been an emotional roller coaster ride, but he's learned a lot from it. He's learned to be steady, take what comes, and go with that.
We're going to have a chance to see how he performs this afternoon. Thank you very much. Keith?
All right, Swanee, thank you. Let me correct my bowls to the Gator Bowl, not the Citrus is involved in the outcome of this game today. David Palmer, number 2, and Chris Anderson is back there. Number 33, Shane Edge will kick it off. Edge, who also does the punting, hits it high and back to the 3-yard line for Palmer. Here comes the deuce up the middle. And he's out to the 29-yard line. And so Palmer gives Alabama pretty good starting field position. And the Florida man is down on the field as part of the coverage team for Florida. Brian Bergdorf will be the starting quarterback for Alabama this afternoon. You see the numbers on him for 1993. With Jay Barker gone because of knee surgery for the season, they're starting a quarterback. David Palmer, however, probably will be seen there later on today, and probably Freddie Kitchens as well. The man down on the field is number 98, Anthony Riggins. He is a defensive end and part of the coverage team for the Florida Gators. He was shaken up on the kickoff coverage. David Palmer is a very important personality in this Alabama offense. He's averaging, as you see, 14 yards every time that he touches the ball. So that's an imposing figure. Sherman Williams and Tarrant Lynch will open in the backfield with Kevin Lee a wide out and Tony Johnson at the tight end. And you probably will see Palmer and Lee and Chad Key and others involved in a lot of misdirection and reverses before the day is done. Riggins is all right, just been deflated a little bit, probably by a hard hit, and he's walking off the field. So Tarrant Lynch now is the single back in as a fullback. He's the big man, 225 pounds. They pitch it back to Palmer. Palmer looking to throw the ball, throws it back to Bergdorf, and Bergdorf has got some room. He'll take a pretty good lick as he goes down at about the 48-yard line. So Alabama starts out with a gimmick play, and it works. The offensive line for Alabama is anchored by Toby Shields, a very good center, 250-pounder. And Matt Hammond is making his 49th start for Alabama at tackle. That is a record at the University of Alabama. Ozzie Newsome held the previous record at 47.
Bergdorf took a pretty good hit on that first play, Keith. If I was short of quarterbacks, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, he did take a lick. Well, you know that they're going to nail him if they get a chance at him. This is Lynch, the fullback, catching the ball. You will not arm tackle Parent Lynch. And I think the Florida coverage people just found that out as Larry Kennedy came over and he ran right through it. William Gaines had a terrific ball game last week for Florida against the Seminoles of Florida State. They lost it, but Big Bill, he had a horse of a game. Ed Robinson is the leading tackler for the linebackers and the team at Florida, and they need a big game out of him. Monty Groh had something like 18 tackles last week against Florida State, coming off a broken arm. That happened about mid-season. Forrest Turner is now the fullback, and the pitch goes to Chris Anderson, the tailback, number 33, and the senior from Huntsville has another big gain for the Tide and a first down at the Florida 30-yard line. It would be a very, very, very big series for Alabama if they take it and stick it in the end zone.
Well, the thing that Alabama has had problems with is throwing the football. They come out in this game, the championship game, and throw the first two times they have the ball on offense. That sends a message to Florida defensively that they're going to open it up.
We understand now Riggins, the man who was hurt on the kickoff coverage team, has a separated shoulder. This is Anderson, caught from behind, taken down by Kevin Carter, number 57. A loss on the play of about 3 yards. Kevin Carter is another fellow who had a big ball game last week against Florida State for the Gators.
The toss to the right of your screen, the tight end, number 5, Johnson, is going to miss the block on Carter. The strength of this Florida line defense is their defensive line. Carter is the defensive end, and there you see him right there. He has 7 sacks coming into this ball game.
David Palmer out of the shotgun. Quarterback draws what that amounts to, and he takes it inside the 25 down to the 24. So he picks up 8 yards on that carry, and they'll be looking at short yardage on the next snap.
Ron Zook, the defensive coordinator for Florida, says every time Alabama breaks the huddle, find David Palmer. Find where he is. If he's a wide receiver, we have a plan. If he's at quarterback, we have a separate defensive plan. At quarterback, he's going to run the option, he's going to run the sprint out, or he's going to run the quarterback draw, what you just saw.
Bergdorf is back in now at the quarterback position. 3rd down and 4. Bergdorf looking around, throws underneath. The pass is completed to Palmer. Palmer's got a first down inside the 15, down to the Florida 13. So we suggested to you at the outset, and I think we've done it every game that we've covered for Alabama the last couple of years. You got to know where this guy is.
And he's in the backfield this time, a little halfback. We told about wide receiver and quarterback. This time he just runs a little swing, little circle out of the backfield, and makes 2 linebackers miss and picks up a first down.
That is 100th career catch for David Palmer. First down, ball just inside the 14-yard line. Opening possession of the ball game. Florida's in the neutral zone. Question was, were they drawn? Gene Stallings pacing on the sidelines. Been a trying season for him. His 4th year at Alabama, 39-8-1, and it's Florida offside. So the Alabama offensive front was poised enough to hold their position, and they drew the Gators off, and that gets Steve Spurrier moving around and holding his head a little bit. 4th year for Steve at Florida as well, and his name starting to surface again in some pro rumors. The ball is at the 9-yard line, and Sherman Williams is the beat man for Alabama. Williams runs it inside the 5, and a penalty flag is thrown across the way. So that one is in some jeopardy. The referee is Mac Gentry. Gators again. That's the second time they've been called for offside down on this end of the field. And so Alabama is edging ever closer to the goal line, and that should be just about a first down for them as they walk off the 5 yards.
Alabama inside the 20-yard line has been in there 50 times and has only scored 24 touchdowns. That is not a good percentage of touchdowns for times you've been inside the 20-yard line.
Alabama's got it about a first and a yard just outside the 4-yard line, the hash mark, and the marker is just inside the 4.
Palmer's
and Palmer's back in there at quarterback. This time he goes under center, pulls it down, takes off. First and goal, Alabama. The ball is just inside the 2. And Palmer took a pretty good hit himself from Hanks and Kennedy.
This is one of the plays that Palmer likes to run, especially inside the 10-yard line. Flanks on the right side, all the blockers are over there. He just takes the ball, and he is tough to bring down. He is not a big man at all. He's 5'9" and 170. If he continues to take that type of pounding, you wonder how long he'll last.
Officially, it's the 1-yard line. Bergdorf is under center. First and goal, Alabama. Bergdorf almost dropped the ball. Gives it to Lynch. Touchdown, Crimson Tide.
First and goal on the 1-yard line. Looks like Florida had a pretty good penetration, but Lynch just found a crack, and for a split second may have cracked the goal line.
Michael Proctor is in for the extra point try as Alabama takes the kickoff, goes down the field, sticks it in the end zone. The kick is good. 10-13 to play first quarter, and it's your turn, Florida. You're behind 7-0. Alabama now will kick off to Harrison, Houston, and Jack Jackson for the Florida Gators. It's William Watts doing the kicking. He's a freshman out of Pleasant Grove, Alabama. The Tide going 71 yards in the opening possession of the ball game for a 7-0 lead. And Watts hits a knuckleball that skims and sails and goes through the end zone. And Florida will go to work at the 20, first down. David Palmer. He ran for 12 and led the team down the field. Now it's Terry Dean who comes out. Terry Dean, who started the season as the starting quarterback, lost his job, regained it. Now he's there for this entire ball game because Danny Werfel is out with injury. Eric Rett had a very big ball game here a year ago against Alabama. Let's see if he can repeat it today. Florida last week was minus 38 rushing against Florida State. It is Kelvin Randolph and Eric Rett lined up in the eye, and that's Houston in motion. Dean back, gives to Rett, coming around this side, and gets the ball across the 25, picks up 6 on the carry. Last week, Rett carried 7 times and gained 7 yards. He almost equals that in his first try today. The offensive front shows some difference in Gracia and Mitchell, new starters up front. They were not happy with the running game last week. Swain Watson Odom renewing their starting position. So the Gators wearing the white shirts. So looking at second down and 3. Dean back to throw, has all day and completes the pass across the 35 up near the 38 to the fullback Randolph out of the backfield. Shannon Brown, Gregory Jeffries, and Jerry Nunley back healthy now finally. He's been banged around and dinged around with injuries most of the season. Lemansky Hall has to have a big ball game today for Alabama. He's one of the emotional leaders, and Willie Gaston steps over there into the quarterback spot vacated by the ineligibility of Antonio Langham. First down from the Gators from the 38. Go to Rhett. Rhett is hit by Lemansky Hall, the senior from Valley, Alabama. Took him right off the ground. He'll gain a yard.
There's a look at Willie Gaston. He is replacing Antonio Langham at that corner position. He has started the last 5 games at free safety, now moves over to a corner position, which he played before he was at the free safety. And that's who he has to cover, Jack Jackson, the leading receiver for the Gators.
Call it second down and 9 from the 39. Dean rolls out, has good blocking again, throws the ball right through the hands of his fullback, Randolph.
The important thing early for Terry Dean is to relax and calm down. And speaking with Spurrier earlier in the week, he said Terry gets a little bit worked up, is a little hyper sometimes, gets a little excited. If he just calms down, just relaxes, he can get into a very good rhythm.
Third and 9. Passes away, and it's incomplete. Willie Jackson was down there. Willie Jackson was being covered by Tommy Johnson.
He was covered, Keith. Nobody open. Alabama, Bill Oliver, the defensive coordinator, doing a nice job on the first series of mixing up the different fronts and the coverages against the Gators.
Shane Edge, punting average on the season, about 43.5 yards per punt. And Palmer's the deep man. Ever dangerous. Crowd quiet, anticipating. Oh, it took a long time, and they almost got him. Coverage downfield. David Palmer drifts over, takes it out of bounds at about the 17, maybe the 18-yard line. The 1993 SEC Championship presented by Dr. Pepper and brought to you by Lexus, maker of the 1994 ES. Improved, revised, refined, in a word, new. By Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, just what the doctor ordered. Payne Weber. We believe our most important investment is an investment in relationships. And smooth Busch beer. An easy drinking Busch Light. David Palmer in that initial drive, rushed for 12, received for 10, passing for 20, and returned the kickoff for 27. That's 69 of the 71 total yards. Ryan Bergdorf is the quarterback. He turns, gives that ball away to Williams. Williams coming around the corner with a big play, but there is a penalty flag across the way. It is thrown by a lineman. Look out for an illegal block or a hold.
19-yard gain on the play and a first down for Alabama. There's the flag on the way.
Holding, offense, 10 yards, and small foul, first down.
Big play wiped out.
One of the linemen then went through. That Shields, the center. Doesn't look like there's any holding there. But one of the linemen, Toby Shields, was named all SEC.
I didn't see any hold.
I didn't see any hold there either. But Keith, it seems to me that Alabama has overcome the loss to Auburn much quicker than Florida has overcome.
You want to tell that man that?
Yeah, well, not on that play. I mean, it was a big play, probably something they had. But the point is, Alabama's had a week off to get ready for this game. Florida, just the loss to Florida State last week. I don't think they've overcome that loss yet.
Ball back, way back in there. First down and 18 now, and here's Palmer in the end zone. Throws it, and it is caught. by Lynch, the fullback. I mean, Palmer threw a balloon trying to avoid being sacked in the end zone for a safety, and Lynch just happened to be in the right place at the right time and saved an interception.
The left side of your screen, 57. The defensive end is Carter right there on the left side. He gets a call on him. He throws it anyway. It's unbelievable. That ball could have gone up in the air and been picked off.
Could have been in the end zone with the folks wearing white very easily.
A lot of trick plays. Alabama has already pulled a couple of them, with Palmer included, but a lot of trick plays by Alabama on offense.
He got time called by Alabama, leading in the ball game by a score of 7-0. The Florida Gators were the winners of the Eastern Division in the Southeastern Conference. That's why they're here opposing the Alabama Crimson Tide. Florida beat Tennessee in Gainesville 31-24. And Auburn ineligible because of NCAA sanctions. Alabama, even though they lost to Auburn, is here as the champion of the Western Division. So it's a rematch from a year ago. And they painted the field, and the paint is now coming off because of the wet and the rain onto the uniforms of the players.
At 43 that you see on there is in honor of the Antonio Langham, who is ineligible for this game and the bowl game.
It is second down at about 15. Ball back on the 13-yard line. Bergdorf with a little play action, pulls it down, takes off, fumbles the ball out of bounds. Or did Florida get it?
I don't think the ball ever went out of bounds. The Gator defender did. I don't know if the ball was out or not.
Alabama keeps it. Lucky. Very lucky.
This is play action pass and pretty good pressure there. Forces Bergdorf out. The field is wet and slippery, and the ball just comes out. Now, does it get out of bounds? Can't tell from that angle.
Well, Patterson recovered it, and Alabama keeps the ball, and it is third down at about 25. Ball is on the 3-yard line. Palmer is under the center at quarterback. Down the line he goes. It's a sweep, and he's after the 6. And now Alabama will have to send out their punter to kick it out of his end zone.
How different was that possession from the first possession that Alabama had? First possession was 8 plays and a touchdown. This time they went backwards.
Brian Deal comes out to punt the ball. Number 17, Sorolla Palmer, is the deep man for Florida. And Deal is averaging just under 44 yards per punt and has been very good lately. And that is a long, low driving kick. Gives him some room to return it, though. And Palmer finds his way back down to the Alabama 42-yard line. So it was a good long kick of 54 yards, but it was low, and Palmer was able to return it. About 17.
Take a look, Keith, at what both teams want to do. They've got to get, Florida's got to get Rhett back in the offense. Last week he was out of it completely, and Alabama needs to have an effective passing game, which they had on the first drive when they scored their touchdown.
So put it in play at the Alabama 42 with Eric Rhett has the ball right here, and they stop it. Linesman threw the flag on this side of the field.
Dead ball, illegal procedure, offense, the first and 15.
Third mistake by the Florida Gators in the ball game. Reggie Green, who was set down, did not start. He had started every game since he walked on campus to play ball at Florida. Today he did not. He did not, apparently, in the minds of the coaches, play well last week. But he's on the field now.
I was on the sideline.
Sidelines now.
He'll be there shortly. You can be sure of that. He is an outstanding.
He will play before the day is over.
Yeah.
Into the middle, Rhett carries. So he regains what they lost on the penalty. And out there where they're working right now, there's a lot of that paint that was washed loose over the night and through the early morning hours of today in a very heavy rain. So it's not nearly as pretty as it was when it was put out. 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. It is 2nd down and 10 for the Florida Gators. Dean chased out of the pocket, dumps it off to Randolph, and he falls down. It's an incomplete forward pass. The field is relatively dry in the middle. Lynn Swan pointed that out some time ago, that the crown is high enough here at Legion Field that the water runs off the middle. Wet on the side, dry in the middle.
This is a cat and mouse game between the defense for Alabama and the Gators offensively. Bill Oliver, the defensive coordinator, going to 3-man line, then some 4-man line, mixing up his coverages.
3rd down and 10 for Terry Dean. Good protection. Goes big into the end zone. No. Incomplete. Pass intended for Chris Doering. Sam Shade was back there with him. Doering had the edge at 6'4", but Sam went up at 6'1" and knocked it out of there. And so it is 4th down for the Gators.
Number 14, Shane Edge, in the punt for the Gators.
Edge first punt, 44, you see. That's just about his average on the year. Let's see what David Palmer can create. Alabama didn't have much luck with that last possession. They spent the whole time with the goal line right at their back. Palmer calls a fair catch and lets it go. The ball's bouncing around inside the 10 and goes out of bounds at the 9. So that's quite a punt. Edge knocks it out at the 9. Monday night, ABC Sports will head into the Lone Star State for an NFC East showdown. The Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. That'll be at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football.
Looking at that Florida defense, this is what they are in the nation. They're 9th in the nation against the run, 85th against the pass. So you would think that if Alabama's going to get something done, the easiest route would be through the air.
Bergdorf, the quarterback. Ball goes to Chris Anderson. And Chris Anderson, give him a crack. And he'll pop through it. And he did there. Move the chain. 3 carries, 21 yards for Anderson. Michael Gilmore, number 35 there for the Gators. He is the designated Rhodes Scholar for the state of Florida. Sherman Williams is now the deep man for the Tide. Got a little room to operate. Ball is out at the 20. Bergdorf gives it to Williams. Not much there that time as he was absorbed by Big William Gaines and Ellis Johnson and David Bernard.
From behind the defense, you notice there are 4 orange helmets right there. That is Shields, 61, who has snapped the ball and is pulled. But nothing. Monty Grohl, number 10, gets a part of it.
2nd down and 9. Middle, incomplete. Pass intended for Chad Key. So the ball apparently wet. Didn't get a good grip on it. And Bergdorf had almost no rotation on the knuckleball as Lawrence Wright was blitzing and coming right down his throat.
Bergdorf is making his 3rd start of the year. He came in completing 54% of his passes, and it's going to be a tough day to complete passes with the ball being wet most of the time.
Shotgun, 3rd and 9. Inside Palmer, and he is taken down in a hurry by Lawrence Wright. Number 4, the redshirt freshman out of Miami, makes the big play for the Gators, and Alabama will have to punt it.
Well, they're going to be looking for David Palmer everywhere he goes. Expect double coverage.
Number 12, Brian Neal, going in confirmation for Alabama. Going deep for Florida, number 17, Palmer.
Palmer is back.
Woo!
Beautiful kick by Deal. Second one he is nailed, and again a wall set up for Palmer's return. Big return. Poor coverage by Alabama, and Gene Stallings is just jumping up and down on the sideline. So the punt is 51 yards.
Outkicked his coverage.
But the kicking coverage is not very good. Tonight on ABC, of course, the Gators might have something to do with it. The Olsen twins from Full House star in a holiday movie special. To Grandmother's House we go. Rhea Perlman and Jerry Van Dyke. Then the commission enters the world of the rich and jaded to solve a murder. All tonight starting at 8/7 Central Time on ABC.
Eric Redd around left end, hit first by number 22, Willie
That's
Jackson.
Eric Rett carrying the ball for the Gators, and again starting a possession on the Alabama side of the field.
Second time, Keith, they've started a possession and really offensively got out there and went on a quick count. Alabama is substituting their players in late and really did not get ready defensively for that snap.
Second down and 6 as Rett picked up 4 on that play.
There's a different look for him. They got 8 men at the line of scrimmage.
Changed his play too.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of time.
That's coming. He's nailed by number 52, Michael Rogers. I mean, Rogers timed it perfectly and came flying. Well, we'll see if it was perfectly because there's a flag out there.
Procedure, offense.
This is mind games. The defense is playing mind games. There you saw 78, that screen left tackle, maybe a couple other guys. But Dean, the quarterback, saw the situation, knew that the play he had wasn't any good. There is that's the Florida coaches. Yeah, we'll find Bill Oliver for you in a minute.
Pass is thrown down the middle, and it is caught by Willie Jackson down around the 31-yard line, and that is good for a first down.
There's the Alabama defensive coaches, Bill Oliver with the headset in the center, lower center. He's been going against Steve Spurrier for like the last 9 years. They've been in the USFL, they've been in the ACC, now in the SEC. Spurrier wants a timeout, didn't get it.
Little quick pop pass to Willie Jackson. They get a pretty good play out of it inside the 15-yard line down to the 14-yard line. And now here's Lynn Swann.
Keith, you and Bob are talking about Oliver and what he has to do defensively. Before the game, he told me with Antonio Langdon out of the lineup, he literally lost half of his defensive coverages. That's because he doesn't have a person back there who can play as tough man-on-man defense.
Willie Gaston is the man in that position that Langham occupied. It is a first down for the Gators inside the 15-yard line. Dean throws wide open. Touchdown, Harrison Houston.
And who did he beat? Willie Gaston.
Nowhere near him. Houston was open by a good 5 yards.
1 for Spurrier, 0 for Oliver. Here's Gaston right here, who replaced Antonio Langham. Is going to run down a hitch and go, and the defensive back is going to jump on the hitch. Little hitch right there and go. Spurrier waited to the right time. Langham would have been all over that one.
Judd Davis, the winner of the Lou Groza Award this year, is in for the extra point try. It is good. And so, with 1 minute and 2 seconds to play in the first quarter, we're all even at 7.
Take another look at the touchdown. Gaston is at the top of your screen. Little pump by the quarterback. Nice job by Terry Dean. Patience, take your time, set the hook, let him take the bait, and then lay it in.
Going to be a long day for Gaston. Terry Dean in that possession hit 3 out of 3 passes for 45 yards, including the touchdown.
Gaston is a good defensive back, but as I mentioned, he's been playing free safety the last 5 weeks. And when you get out there on the corner, you're exposed. And he was just burnt right there.
Shane Edge, number 14, will be
It will be a busy day for the defensive coaches on the Alabama side of the field particular, because we've made the point well that Steve Spurrier will stretch your defense.
Yes, he will, and he won that possession.
Harrison Houston's catch, incidentally, his 100th career catch. This is David Palmer from the 5. Works his way back up across the 25. He goes down at the 28. There, Alabama will go to work first down. A 7-7 ball game with 55 seconds to play in the first quarter.
First and 10 for Alabama at the tie 28.
Florida took only 4 plays to go 44 yards. Good field position on that drive.
Bergdorf at quarterback. Slides down right about the line of scrimmage. The more you go to the sideline, the wetter it gets. And he tried to plant his inside foot, and it wouldn't get right. Coming up on a half minute to go, as you see, in the first quarter. 7-7 tie. Alabama took the opening possession and went downfield 71 yards. Bergdorf is now in the shotgun. And they stop him.
Dead ball, illegal procedure against the offense. Let us say down.
Both teams making little mistakes. 15 seconds to go in the first quarter. This, the SEC championship game, presented on ABC Sports by Dr. Tupper. And with the championship goes the ticket to the USF&G Insurance Sugar Bowl game in New Orleans, New Year's night. When this game is finally done and the voting is done by the coalition people tomorrow, we'll finally know who's going to play in the Sugar Bowl against the winner here. Bergdorf's pass is quick, complete to Kevin Lee, but not a whole lot of yards on the play. Picked up about 4. First quarter's over, and we're all even. An Auburn alum, obviously getting a little gig in here. Auburn beat Florida by 3 and Alabama by 8, both on Auburn's home field. But Auburn is not here because they're on probation from the NCAA. Ryan Bergdorf is the quarterback. Very good protection, throws a good pass, drills it into the chest of David Palmer, and it's good for a first down. Move the ball out past the 40.
Tackle made by number 41, Ed Robinson.
First quarter numbers looks like a lot of defense to me. Time of possession at the bottom, big in the favor of Alabama, but each team scored 1 touchdown.
Anderson and Lynch in the backfield, flanking Bergdorf. Has a look for Palmer, goes the other way. That is Anderson. And that's a first down as he goes to the Gator 42-yard line.
It's a nice screen. The left tackle, Hammond, and Clay are both going to get out in front of Anderson. At Shields, 61 with a block, and a nice play and a nice pickup for Alabama.
First down, put it on the 42-yard line. Bergdorf now 6 out of 7 for 57 yards. And this is Sherman Williams. Taken down, and a penalty flags all over the place. David Barnard made the tackle.
Face mask, personal foul, against the defense. All that first down, 15 yards.
Mac Gentry's in for a busy day.
97 is Barnard. Florida is the most penalized team in the SEC, as you see it right there. A severe yanking on the helmet. It all gets back to discipline. You've got to have discipline. You've got to play by the rules, and you can't go outside the line of the rules. And when you do that, you're going to be penalized.
I have no sound, so I don't know where I am. I can't hear anybody, but I'll just try to call it for you. The ball is handed off. Fumble. Ball rolling around, and Florida dives after it, but Alabama people get there and keep it. Sherman Williams came scrambling back and finally got possession of it.
He loses 10 yards.
57, Carter, the defensive end, is going to knock this ball loose right there. Several players are going to have an opportunity to recover it. There's one for Alabama. Another one for Florida. Tries to pick it up, and Harville, number 60, finally gets it back for the Tide.
That's the second time now that Alabama's been able to cover a ball in dangerous area. And, you know, they're kind of gobbling up their law of averages here in the first half.
Yes, they are.
Bergdorf drops it off to Anderson. And Anderson is knocked out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. They're scored a lot of points in these playoffs. You see a lot, but at North Alabama, which is up in Florence, north of here, leading Texas A&M Kingsville by 2 points in the fourth quarter. The championship game in that division will be played in Florence next week. Ball is on the Florida 33-yard line, where it is 3rd down and 16. Bergdorf, the quarterback, working out of the shotgun. Up the middle he goes on a quarterback draw, and he is taken down by Ed Robinson, number 41, the linebacker. So Robinson stayed at home, took him down, and in comes the kicking team. That means Michael Proctor bringing a team.
The Gators last week, that quarterback draw would have been run by Charlie Ward. This week, Bergdorf not quite as quick.
Michael Proctor in to attempt the 45-yard field goal.
This is a big one, 45 yards. He's 5 out of 7 from this distance, so he's got plenty of leg on it. And he got it at 12:02 to go in the first half. Alabama goes back to the lead, 10-7 on a 45-yard field goal. Harrison Houston 84, Jack Jackson number 1, waiting for the kickoff from William Watts. Alabama leading 10-7 on the 40th career field goal by Michael Proctor. Watts gets his foot under this one and lifts it high. It's Jackson at the 5, to the 20, and the 21.
Number 1. Jack Jackson returns from
Tomorrow here on ABC Sports, the top stars of the PGA and the Senior Tours team up with the best of the LPGA and the J.C. Penney Classic. After 3 rounds, Tom Seekman, Deborah Mahaffey are tied with Mike Springer and Melissa McNamara at 14 under. Coverage begins at 4 Eastern and 3 Central and Pacific here on ABC Sports. All right, Terry Dean, who talked some last week of transferring to another school, is in there at quarterback. Danny Werfel, arthroscopy after the Florida State game and is not playing today. Dean back to throw the ball. Goes deep down the middle. He's got Willie Jackson. It's intercepted. Ball was late getting there. Tommy Johnson with the interception. Alabama ball, Florida 40.
This ball was underthrown. If it would have been out there, he had a chance for a big play. Play action. 21 Donnelly is the free safety. They're trying to get behind him.
They did.
The receiver is behind him well. The ball would have been thrown to the left and downfield further. It would have been a completion. Nice protection. Just doesn't get it out there far enough, and he knows he's hanged it.
And Alabama's back down on the Florida 41-yard line, first down, with Bergdorf at quarterback. Pitches the ball to Anderson. He's got a problem. Coming back this way. And will lose back to about the 45-yard line. Good play by Monty Grove, number 10.
Stop on the play made by number 10, Monty Grove.
Negative plays. Ron Zook loves the negative plays. One of the reasons why Alabama's going to have trouble running is right here. Look at this. You have 8 defensive men right there in the box to try and stop. You cannot run against 8 people up there to stop the run. And Florida is going to have 8 guys up there, you can be sure.
It'll be second down and 23 now for Alabama. Bergdorf on a throw. And Chad Key can't reach it. So a former quarterback now playing wide receiver, lanky fellow, 6'4", 210, couldn't stretch enough for that one. Alabama's running game so far here in the first half, 15 carries, 11 yards. We've got 10:46 to play in the first half.
Bergdorf had a face full of Barnard, the defensive lineman, on that play as he was throwing it. Turnovers is one thing that has cost Gene Stallings a couple of games this year. And the latest one, the LSU game, they had 5 turnovers in the loss against LSU.
3rd and 23. Bergdorf's got a man wide open. The pass is completed to Todrick Malone. But way short of a first down. So they'll be looking at 4th. And in comes the punter deal.
13-yard gain of the play. 4th and 10 at the 41.
Deal with a big day so far at 52.5 on his 2 kicks since Rolla Palmer's had a big day returning them. He gets pretty good air under this one, though. Knocked it toward the corner and knocks it out of bounds in the coffin corner. And the official's going to have to do some pretty good guessing on this one as he comes walking back and finally stops at the 6, where Florida will have it first down.
Florida offense leads the SEC in passing, but Alabama defense is the best against the pass, so good matchup right here.
Getting another little shower. Chris Bilke now is in the backfield at fullback for Florida, starting at the 6-yard line. Given to Rhett. And he's got a first down out near the 20. Now let's join Lynn Swan, who is with the young man who started last week's game at quarterback, Danny Werfel.
Thank you, Keith. Danny, from your perspective, what's happening to the offense out there?
It seems like both offenses have had a couple opportunities and missed a couple open receivers, and Eric just had the nice run. Hopefully we'll just start executing and clicking all the way around the board.
We're going to go back to play. We'll come right back.
All right.
Danny, of course, out. He had arthroscopy, as we told you earlier this week, and he possibly could be available for a bowl game. That's Red again in the middle, and he finds enough daylight to bolt to the 33 and another first down. So Eric Rhett, the first player in Division 1A to run for 4,100 plus yards and to catch 140 plus passes. He's now at 41-19 and 151. So Eric Rhett showing again, and with his stats showing clearly, he is one of the premier running backs in the country. First down for the Gators up near the 34. Little misdirection there, the delay, and number 52, Michael Rogers, comes flying through the middle and decks him for a big loss, and let's go back to Swanee.
All right, Keith. Danny, I'm not asking you to second guess, but after the interception that Dean threw and the rain starting to come down, tell us what it's like to throw under these conditions.
It's not bad right now. We played it a lot worse. Hopefully it won't come down harder here in the future. It might slow us down a little bit, but so far it hasn't been that bad.
Is your offense playing a little tense?
I haven't noticed that. Just everything's not quite clicking for us. Hopefully the good Lord will bless us. It'll come around.
Hope you heal up quick. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Put the ball on the 27-yard line now after the good play by Rogers. And Terry Dean throws to Rhett. And Eric Rhett will be tackled by 3. Red Elephants short of a first down. Well short. They'll be looking at about 11 or 12 yards.
3rd and 10 for Florida at the 33.
I call it 10. About 10 and a half. You got 4 wideouts. Alabama comes flying across the line of scrimmage.
Everybody started to accept the center. He didn't snap it.
Yep. That'll be the
Dead
6th
ball.
penalty.
Illegal procedure. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That oftentimes happens with a team that has just played a very emotional ball game, and certainly the Gators could not have been more emotional than they were at home last week
Penalized 5 yards.
against
Illegal
Florida State.
procedure. It's now 3rd and 15 at the Gators' 28-yard line.
Gant Crouch had just come into the ball game.
That wasn't his fault, though. The left tackle, Green, jumped.
Yep, Reggie moved. Dean has good protection. Now lets it go big downfield for Harrison Houston, and he holds on for a first down for the Gators at the Alabama 37-yard line. Dean had a week to throw the ball.
Well, he did, Keith, and he needed a week because there was nobody open downfield. Only 3 men rushing, 8 men dropping back. Take a look at the coverage and see if you find anybody open. Houston's been right in the center of the screen. Not until he comes across the field does he have some time. Now he gets open, runs away from the double coverage, and because of only 3 men rushing, Dean bought some time and found an open receiver.
Somebody's mouthpiece went flying.
He sure did. I hope it was a mouthpiece.
Yeah. On first down, Dean back, getting some pressure, gets his pass away, bobbled, and finally caught by Charlie Dean, the tight end. But I think Charlie's going to lose about a yard on the play. 7.5 minutes to go in the first half. Alabama 10, Florida 7. The SEC championship game presented by Dr. Pepper. The winner goes to the USF&G Insurance Sugar Bowl. The loser goes to the Gator Bowl.
Take a look at Florida offensively. They lead in passing, but they're 9th in rushing, and they have thrown more interceptions than any other team in the SEC.
2nd and 11. Ball is batted down. Number 73, Nunley, jumps on the ball for Alabama.
Dean's pass batted down at the line.
Looked like Damian Jeffries was the man that slapped it aside. And at the conclusion of today's ball game, we'll have the Chevrolet Players of the Game for you. The 23rd year that Chevrolet has participated in the scholarship program, $1,000 to each of the universities in the name of their MVP for the game. Houston wide to the bottom of your picture. 3rd and 11. Show blitz.
Come.
Passes away. Jack Jackson. He almost got that ball on the ricochet. It was almost picked off by Tommy Johnson for his 2nd of the day. But remember last week, it was Jackson who made that bouncing catch to get him back in the hunt against the Noles.
52, the linebacker, is Rogers. Rhett's going to try and block him, but Dean saw the blitz, knew he had to throw it quickly, and Johnson, number 10, reads it very well and could have had an interception, which would have been a touchdown.
4th and 11, and they'll go for it. The ball is at the Alabama 38-yard line. 7:19 to play. This could be a big play in the ball game. 4th and 11, and they're going for it.
Here they come.
They miss him. He got away. Lemansky hauls after him. He gets away from Hall. He's got a first down. Big play by Terry Dean. Alabama had their shot at him, and they missed him.
Terry Dean goes around left end for the Florida first down.
And it's raining very hard right now.
A 16-yard gain on the play.
Well, you got a blitz right here, and when everybody blitzes, let's go ahead and run it. Go ahead and everybody blitzes. There's nobody downfield. Now stop it right here. Look at all this area. If he can just get out, he had a lot of room to run, and that's where he ran to.
And he got a first down at the 22-yard line. Dean again gets away from pressure. That ball is off the hands of Chris Bilkey, the fullback, who had drifted out into that short zone. And he just simply didn't catch the ball because it was right on his hands.
He's tired right now. After that long run on 4th down and 11, he is really sucking some air. He might consider taking the timeout to let him get his breath.
6:44 to play in the first half.
Or let him hand the ball off to somebody, let somebody else do some work.
2nd down and 10. The ball at the Alabama 22. Tide leading 10-7. Dean will go down. Michael Rogers gets his 3rd tackle of the day.
That's Steve's fault. Spurrier, he shouldn't. He just ran 15, 20, 30, 40 yards to pick up that 4th down. Now he comes back, and you got to give him a little break. Remember last week when Charlie Ward ran around, called timeout, give him a little chance to catch his breath, or just let him hand the ball off to Rhett to do something. But don't put the ball in his hand 3 or 4 times in a row.
Well, Rhett has just come out. They go to a 4 wideout alignment on 3rd down and about 18. And Dean's back there by himself. Here comes the pressure. They've got him again. They suck him back near the 39-40. Lemansky Hall gets this one.
Well, that's another blitz. The inside linebackers are going to do it to 52. Watch 52. That's Rogers. He blitzes from the left, and Lemansky Hall, number 11, is the other linebacker. Poor protection, no chance.
So it'll be 4th and about 25 now. And in comes Shane Edge. Or is it Davis? It is Davis. Judd Davis, the place kicker, who is the winner of the Groza Award. He edged Michael Proctor. And now Alabama will call a timeout. It will be a 54-yard try if they try it.
And Bob and Keith, the wind is blowing into their face just a bit here. The rain's coming straight down, so it's going to be real tough on the punt. Or on the kick, rather.
Well, Shane Edge has come in. They will punt. They will punt. Edge trotted right out. No question about it when they reassessed the circumstance and saw the rain coming down. A 54-yard field goal try under those conditions would be terribly difficult. David Palmer is waiting for it for Alabama, standing back at the 10. What Edge will try to do is pooch it, get it high in the air, and knuckle it and let it bop around. And that's a penalty against Florida. Number 41, Ed Robinson, the linebacker, up on the line of scrimmage on the kick coverage team, broke loose and moved too soon. Gators have 7 penalties so far in the first half of the game.
I really feel like they've still got a hangover from last week. That loss to Florida State. The crucial loss that Alabama had to Auburn 2 weeks ago. They've had time to come out of that.
Actually, it gives Edge a little more room, though, to swing his leg, because he's got plenty of length to knock it deep and knock it out. And he'll try to kill it in the corner. He's got it high. He got about what he wanted. And Palmer fair catches at the 10-yard line. So Shane Edge does his job. Alabama will start first down at the 10. 5:08 to play in the first half. Alabama in the opening possession down for a touchdown. Florida finally put it in the end zone on a pass play to Houston. And then Alabama came back to take the lead on a 45-yard field goal from Michael Proctor. Florida in that possession had 12 plays and no points. Brian Steger is off the bench. The big freshman now is in there from Newmarket, Alabama. Let's see if they put it in his hands on this snap. Yes, they do. Penalty flag goes down. Out of a linesman on the far side through it. And it's going to be an Alabama penalty. I don't know that. Now, wait a minute. I'm seeing them pointing both ways. Well, I thought the linesman might have pointed to the red side, but it's called against Florida, so the Gators now have 8 penalties in the first half. Little stuff, but enough to blunt you.
Florida been line
frustrated.
5 yards offside. First and 5 for Alabama. At the
So make
Tide
it first
15.
down and 5 for the Tide as the ball comes out to the 15. Malone comes in for Alabama, number 80, at a flanker spot, and David Palmer leaves. And the rain is coming straight down. Kevin Lee is the man in motion. Now you got 2 wideouts over there. Pitch that ball to Stigert. And he'll pick up a yard, and that's all. Larry Kennedy made the tackle for Florida. Tomorrow night on ABC, 2 brand new movies. First at 7, 6 Central, Fred and Wilma becomes grandparents in a new full-length Flintstones movie, Holly Rockabye Baby. Then Mel Harris stars with John Schneider in Desperate Journey, the Allison Wilcox story, all tomorrow night on ABC. Ball is at the 16-yard line. It is 2nd down and 4. Chris Anderson is in at tailback now for the Tide. Anderson has it. 2 yards short of the first down as Ellis Johnson and Anton Lott make the tackle. Well, North Alabama has won, beating Texas A&M at Kingsville in a good ball game, 27-25. Youngstown State beating Georgia Southern. Idaho and Boston University had its first ever 11-0 season, but they've got a tough customer in the Vandals of Idaho today.
Keith, you get rain like this, and it just makes it so much tougher for the offense.
Palmer's in there at quarterback, and he's belted out of bounds by Larry Kennedy, short of the first down. Let me ask you a question, Bob. Is it possible in a what, 3 days of work? That's about what you've got between games, to put in something like a couple of wishbone plays?
Well, Alabama's had 2 weeks. They could put some stuff in. But Florida, they don't have enough time to do anything. All they need to do is prepare for Palmer.
Pretty good kick. Cirola Palmer, though, has got room to run with it. And he got a huge hole. And the man who had the key to the door, the man that could have unlocked it and let him go all the way, slipped and fell and never had a chance to throw a block. And Alabama was able to get him out on the 35-yard line.
The coverage teams for Alabama have not done their job, but the punter is really out-kicking the coverage. All good blocks, nobody blocking from behind.
The man that fell down right there was the man that would have taken 12.
The punter slows him up, makes the play.
3 times for 83 yards for Cirola Palmer. So he is having a big day. Yes, 2 minutes and 54 seconds to play in the first half. Dark, heavy clouds, rainstorm passing over. Been raining off and on all day long. That is the last Alabama timeout, with the Tide leading by a score of 10-7. I wouldn't think that this kind of rain, though, is really going to bother either one of these teams all that much, because they've both played in it. They've had their experiences in the rain, and they don't have mud.
It's not going to bother them, but it's just their proficiency on offense is going to go down. I mean, it just you just can't throw the ball, and it's tougher to hold on to it.
Coming up on the Prudential halftime report, John Saunders will take a look at some of the plays and the moments of the past season, and we'll have a look at the fiscal reality of this SEC championship game. What it's done for the city of Birmingham and what it's done so far for the Southeastern Conference and its membership. Put the ball on the 35 of Alabama. Make it first down, Florida. Alabama leading 10-7 with 2:54 to play in the half. Terry Dean hands the ball. Eric Rett, and he picks up 6 yards. He got away from Elbert Brown. And Eric Redd is a big guy at 5'10" and about 215. And it's raining very hard again. Second down and a long 3. Dean's pass good to Jack Jackson for the first down. And Jackson is down at about the 21-yard line. Now with the clock stopping at 2:15 to play in the first half. Florida would like to go to the clubhouse leading if they can. Or at least even.
Excuse me, Keith. Terry Dean is requesting something. You saw him giving signals back. He says, let me run this play. Let me run that play.
Steve Spurrier does not want to debate. Pressure coming, gets a pass away, going to the end zone, and lucky to get it back. Tommy Johnson had a better chance of catching it than Willie Jackson did. So it's an incomplete forward pass. If you're going to throw it away, you better throw it away more efficiently than that.
When he had to release it, he didn't know which angle the receiver was going to come out of, and when you're that and you don't have a lot of sideline to throw, you better throw it long and out of bounds, because the defensive man had a better shot at that ball.
Second down and 10. Up the middle, Rhett runs right through the surging defenders and takes the ball down to the 15-yard line.
Eric Rhett is close to breaking one of these. He is just chomping at the bit. He is the all-time leading rusher at the University of Florida. And in the conference combined, he is second only to Herschel Walker in yards of receiving and rushing.
Hard rain again. Dean back, throws. Ball caught by Willie Jackson, and he got away. He got away from Gaston. Willie Gaston had his hands on him, and he just simply slid away from him. And it's first and goal, Florida. The ball is inside the 3, close to the 2. And it's just absolutely pouring buckets.
First and goal for Florida with the ball inside the Alabama 3-yard line.
Again, Keith, they're working over on that side where Antonio Langham would have been. Willie Gaston filling in.
Dean keeps it, turns it, and scores. Touchdown, Florida. So the Gators stick it in the end zone at 1:10 to play in the first half. It will go in the books as a 2-yard touchdown run by Terry Dean.
Fakes a little toss. Nice blocking there by Houston. And he runs over Johnson, the last defender. He'll talk about that for a long time. Dean, the quarterback, running over a defensive back for a touchdown.
Judd Davis, the point. Edge, the punter, holds, and Harold Monk does the snapping. And it works. And so the Florida Gators go to the lead at 14-10 with 1:10 to play in the first half.
He needs some oxygen right there. He said, where's the oxygen?
He's still trying to get over that long run.
He may be looking for a replacement for a substitute. He says, where's Danny Werfel?
Eric Kresser is the backup. He's a redshirt freshman. It's possible that Werfel could regain use of the leg sufficiently to play in a bowl game. I don't know. It's a month away. Winner goes to the USF&G Insurance Sugar Bowl, and the loser goes to the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville. Of course, they're still euphoric in Jacksonville over having been awarded the NFL franchise last week. David Palmer and Chris Anderson are the deep people now for Alabama, and Florida's Shane Edge will kick it off. Ball handled by Anderson, Chris Anderson, a tailback, And he brings it out across the 25-yard line.
The 10-yard line.
So with 1:02 to work with, Alabama no timeouts remaining.
Stop on the play made by number 36, Kevin
Bergdorf comes out to quarterback it.
A 15-yard return. 1st and 10 Alabama at the Tide 25.
Palmer goes into a slot position or a wide out position. And they run it with Chris Anderson.
Anderson at left guard.
And Anderson will move it up to about the 32. That's a 7, close to an 8-yard pickup. And the clock running now.
7-yard gain on the play. 2nd and 3.
It's a linebacker, Robinson, and Shields, 61, the center. Helmet jumps off. That's when you know you've been blocked, is when the center gets up around your shoulders and your helmet. Nice block by the center, Shields.
2nd down and short 3. That should have been picked off, but two Gators knocking away from each other. Larry Kennedy had his hand on it. I think Gilmore got involved with it, and nobody caught it.
That was an awful throw. I mean, there were 6 orange helmets around. I don't know what the play was or what Bergdorf had in mind.
Well, watch him, boy. He's just going to push it. He loses control of it.
It may have been deflected, or it may have slipped out of his hand. But where it ended up was an enemy territory.
Ellis Johnson wasn't helping it any either.
No, he wasn't.
He was all over Bergdorf. Bergdorf runs for the 1st down. Picks it up at about the 38-yard line, and Monty Grove makes another tackle. And they'll move the chain, stopping the clock with 13 seconds remaining.
A 6-yard gain on the play. First and 10 Alabama at the Tide 38.
Dark, heavy clouds, lights. If we didn't have lights, we'd have to call the game. 1st down, Bergdorf looking around. Going to run with it. Won't go very far. Got up to the 45-yard line. And that'll do it. Halftime score, Florida 14, Alabama 10. Now here's a message from Chevrolet on this year's Offensive and Defensive Players of the Year. This is the SEC championship game presented by Dr. Pepper, where the Florida Gators, with a late touchdown to close out the 1st half, lead Alabama by a score of 14-10. The winner goes to the USF&G Insurance Sugar Bowl as the champions of the SEC.
Take a look at the 1st half numbers. The rushing yards aren't much for either team. Total yardage in favor of Florida. The 1 turnover by Florida, the interception, didn't turn into any points, and time of possession still big in the favor of the University of Alabama. The big numbers that aren't on there are the return yards by Sorola Palmer. He has set up 2 touchdowns with some fancy return work.
And this is a game, the outcome of which will affect other teams. We'll talk about that when we come back. One of the factors we like to talk about in our presentation of college football these days is scholarship. And here are some young people who have been rewarded for theirs.